Welcome back to another episode of Low Season Traveller Insider Guides. I'm your host, Ged Brown, and today we're setting our sights on the stunning, history-rich city of Girona, located in the northeast of Spain. Known for its mesmerising medieval architecture, colourful riverfront houses, and delicious Catalan cuisine, Girona has long been a must-see destination. But today, we're diving into why visiting during the low season can make your experience even more special. To guide us through this journey, I'm thrilled to be joined by Margarita Alburna, a passionate local guide whose deep love and knowledge of Girona's history, culture, and hidden gems make her the perfect person to inspire your next off-peak adventure. Margarita has spent years uncovering the secrets of Girona, from its narrow cobblestone alleyways in the Old Quarter to its vibrant culinary traditions. And she's here to share her best-kept secrets, tips, and stories to help you fall in love with the city that she calls home. So grab your favourite cup of coffee, settle in, and get ready to discover Girona in a whole new light. Enjoy. So Margarita, you are most welcome to the Low Season Traveller Insider Guides podcast. Great to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's our absolute pleasure. So look, to start off, if you could just give us a little bit of an overview about yourself and, of course, about your wonderful destination.
So I am a local from Girona, born and raised here. Girona is the capital of the area where we have Costa Brava and Pyrenees. And, well, I just love my area. I think it's wonderful. And I am a licensed tour guide. So that's my job, that's my passion, to take people around and discover the area.
What a wonderful job to have as well, to sort of show off and show your home to guests from, I guess, from all over the world. Do they come from all over the world, Margarita?
They do come from all over the world, actually, yes. Yeah.
Wonderful. So I suppose, first of all, for anybody who's listening that has never been to Costa Brava and Girona and the region, just give us a little bit of an overview to your home.
Well, the city of Girona, I call it a small big city because it's small in terms of population, 100,000 people, but it's big in terms of what's going on. Girona is a great place for culture, for amusement, like concerts, theater, exhibits. We also have a university, and we have great shops, great restaurants that you probably do not expect in such a small place.
Yeah.
But it's really a vibrant city that could be called a hidden gem. Now it's being discovered, you know. But the city is wonderful, with an amazing old city, historical city with a Roman origin. And the area is so beautiful because we have the sea and the mountains, and you can spend your morning hiking on the mountains and then the afternoon by the sea. So it's great. We have France, 45 minutes, the French border. We have Barcelona, 1 hour by car, or 38 minutes with a high-speed train. So I think it's a great place if you want a smaller, relaxing area outside the buzzing Barcelona, where most people stay, I have to say. Many of my clients stay in Barcelona and come spend a day here. And then they have the feeling that they should have spent more days in Girona. Yes, I've seen that so many times. I say, next time you stay here. From here you can do so many things.
It's so funny, isn't it? I noticed that in a lot of different destinations that I've been to too. I've stayed in the past in sort of the larger areas or cities, and then I've visited for half a day different places, and I always end up feeling the same way. I feel like, I should have stayed here instead of the main big city. And I think that really appeals to our listeners, everybody that is involved with Low Season Traveller. They like to get away from the crowds, and they don't like the sort of the craziness. And as you described, it's a big little city, Girona. That really strikes a chord to me, because I think travellers like myself and low season travellers generally, we like the kind of the trappings of a big city, but we like it in a small package that's less stressful and more calm. And it sounds super appealing. And of course, also being by the coast as well as by the mountains, what a perfect location to have a city and to have a home indeed as well. What are some of the key highlights that the travelers that come to see you? What are the key highlights that they find in Girona that they really appreciate?
Girona city has this Roman origin that I was telling you about, although we hardly see any of the Roman remains. So the city kept growing on top of the old construction for centuries. So Roman, Visigoth, Muslim, very short period of time. Carolingian, Girona was the Spanish march, the southern border of the Empire of Charles the Great for a while, then Barcelona, so that's the origin of Catalonia. And then the city also had this Jewish community. We preserved one of the best medieval Jewish quarters in Europe with a really interesting museum of the history of the Jews. It's a part of the history that's been hidden for a long time. And with democracy, the city council worked really hard in order to bring back 600 years of history that were kind of hidden. And that's one of the highlights. It's a place to learn, and it's interesting for Jews and for non-Jews. And the work they've done with that museum is where there were there are no remains, but there's a ritual bath, the mikvah that was discovered 10 years ago. So that's very interesting. Then we have obviously the cathedral, that impressive building from the outside, massive, really the other way around once one gets inside, because of no columns. It was built no columns, has the widest span, the widest nave in the world. So that Baroque from outside has nothing to do with this inside. Also, we preserve the cloisters from the Romanesque cathedral that was there before, and a very interesting museum, the treasure of the cathedral, with an amazing embroidery about the creation of nearly 1,000. So that would be the highlights. But even if you don't want to get into the Jewish Museum or Art Museum, which is also very interesting, Archaeological Museum, History Museum, Cinema Museum, have really interesting museums. Just wandering around, it's beautiful. And all these cobble streets and really narrow alleys around. And then we also have the defensive walls, the medieval defensive walls that were preserved. They were standing all the western part. And it's just beautiful to get on the wall and do all the walk and see the amazing views. Really recommend the walks on the defensive.
Does it tend to be? I'm trying to sort of think of the difference between Girona in the peak season and in the low season months. And obviously, we're just coming into the low season months now. What's the difference like as a well, I suppose as a guest to your city, but also for a local like yourself? What's the difference in the feel of Girona between the peak season months in the summer and the low season months in the autumn, winter, and spring?
Well, I much prefer the low season, obviously. And it says the city gets much quieter. Although this October we have been having lots of people visiting, like retired people or friends from UK and from like some other countries coming during low season, even Spanish groups. So I recommend to visit the city like in the afternoon, in the morning, just live to the mountains or to the sea, and then afternoon is always quiet. Although it will get quiet November, December, January, and February, but I found that October was quite quiet.
I was going to say, is October the kind of perfect mix between sort of mild weather, but it's still sort of pleasant for walking around those sort of old cobbled streets.
But also in winter we get many sunny days, through winters in January, for example, or February. So we get a lot of sunny days, and the October, like it's interesting. For example, the fact that our festivity, local festivity. Traditionally in Spain, each city, town, or village has a festivity for the patron saint. Ours is Narcis. And for a week, there are lots of things going on. And then you have the chance to see, for example, the human towers,
Oh,
or the castles, yeah, which is amazing. People can look online and see what that is about, but it's UNESCO heritage. And this is a big, big tradition in Catalonia. And many cities have their own group of people forming those towers. And here we also have ours, yeah, Marrakech South. So it's one day when they come from all over Catalonia, and in the city council square, which is called a square with arcade from Middle Ages, there was the white market there. The city council is there, and then they form all the castles one Sunday. Another day you can see like this human tower of only one going up all the 90 steps of the cathedral, for example. You see traditional music, concerts of all kinds. Sardanas is our traditional dancing. So there are lots of things going on in the city. Also food markets, traditional food. So we have lots of different things. Because Girona is a really wealthy area where there's a lot going on, from farming, agriculture, industries of all kinds, and then some tourism. And fishing is also important. So it's like meat, fish, vegetables. So our dishes are
I love that.
very interesting.
I love the fact that you're really painting a picture for us of a destination. You know, when we talk about low season months in different destinations, sometimes there are some destinations which they kind of close down a bit in the low seasons, you know, and there's not much happening. And the picture that you're painting for us is very much that Girona definitely doesn't close down, far from it, because obviously there's 100,000 people living there, and they've got these rich traditions like the castle building and so on and so forth. So certainly it sounds like there's a lot of great life, and I suppose it's a great time of the year to experience that culture and heritage that Girona is so richly famous. And that kind of links me to we've touched a little bit on culture and heritage. And I always think that when we talk about culture and heritage, gastronomy is a huge of that. And it's one of the most significant reasons why a lot of us travel is to learn about the local gastronomy, the different types of foods that people have in different regions of the world. Tell us a little bit about some of the local specialities in Girona.
Well, first thing, there's something which is really simple and it's all over Catalonia. And when people taste that and say, oh, that's great, I'm going to prepare that at home. Probably they don't, but it's the tomato bread. So we cut a tomato in two, which is kind of a small one, quite soft, and you wrap it on the bread. And then you put some salt and olive oil, and that's just so good, and it combines with cheese, with embutidos. Embutidos is our sausage or meat, which are dried. They are not cooked. It combines with an omelette. It combines with grilled lamb. That's great, yes. So and it's something which is really very simple. If you ask for a sandwich here, it always goes with the tomato. But then we have so many dishes with vegetables. Like in winter, they can find the fava beans dishes, which are really good. Then we have the scalivada, which is grilled pepper, aubergine, onion,
Mm.
grilled on a toast. On the tomato bread, you can also put the anchovies. Anchovies are prepared in the area, and they are really good. Not like the ones you get from a can. Those are melted with salt for a long time, and this really good. Then you go with the olive oil. And then we have the butifarra with mungeta as well, white beans. Butifarra is sausage, white beans. You can also add the alioli. Alioli is a Catalan word.
Right.
It means garlic, oli is oil. Yeah. And then we have rice. People come to Spain, they say, we are in Spain, we are going to eat paella, right? So paella is from Valencia and it's great dish. You can find it all over Spain, but here we have our kind of rice, which is not that dry, and many different ones. The sarmentar, we have the black rice that goes with king of the octopus, for example, or the calamari. So, and then we have fish dishes like suquet de peix that combines monkfish, egg, prawns or shrimps, clams. Shrimps from the area are also very, from Palamos especially. That's the town with an important harbor, and they said the shrimps there, I don't know what they eat. Is there something different in that section of the Costa Brava? We don't know, especially good. And many other meat dishes. And in winter also, I said the fava beans. You have the mushrooms also, all kind of mushrooms that are picked up in our forest that we combine with meat or we grill them. Then we have the calçots. That's really fun. It come in winter from January to March. Calçots is a sort of the spring onion that we dip in a sauce, and then we like really take it up, and then you put it in your mouth.
Yeah.
And it's big fun. Calçots are really good, and then you have the calçots and grilled meat. It can be lamb or chicken or whatever, or steak.
What's the time of the year for the calçots?
Calçots is from January to March.
Oh, perfect. Okay, low season as well.
Yeah, low season. And then we have all the cheeses. A lot of cheese is produced in the area nowadays. Years ago, they were the French cheese. Okay, best one. No, now we have really good goat, cow, sheep. That's a big thing here. We have great salads. Combined in winter, for example, you find them with pomegranate and nuts, or gastronomy is really good. Food is really important for us. We never skip a meal, and we are always cooking and preparing. So you can really enjoy it.
Obviously you've got such a huge array of local fresh produce for your food, and it sounds mouth-wateringly good, I must say, Margarita. It's making me feel quite hungry now as I'm listening to you. What are the kind of traditions in Girona and the region for eating? Is eating an essential part of day-to-day life? Obviously eating is a key part of our life, but I mean in terms of family and gatherings and traditions, is it sort of a central part like it is in other parts of Spain, where all of the family gets together and it's it's almost ceremonial? Is that what it's like in Girona?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And also, we have family lunches or dinners. Well, when you in UK, when you talk about lunch, it's like grabbing something.
Yeah.
Here it's always like a starter, the main course, and then the dessert, and then the coffee. And sometimes when shops are closed for lunchtime, but not all of them now. It depends. If they are family business in Girona, you find them closed. People say, "No, is that for siesta?" I said, "No, I think that they will be thinking of us like lazy people having siestas, sleeping instead. People don't have siestas here. I do if I can. It's very healthy.
Yeah.
But most of the people I know don't. And the thing is that people cook and people prepare lunch, and it's a social thing that they take time for that. And they might take a nap or not. It's not that common. But you go to the market, wherever. We always buy fresh food, or the bread, we buy it in the bakery. So we have a good meal and a good dinner. It's not that then we skip dinner because lunch was, it's probably lighter for dinner. Yeah. And in between, we even have something. We have like fruit or a yogurt or a pastry. Like we have the shushu in Girona. Everybody coming to Girona should try the shushu. Local pastry.
And what's that?
It's a dough that has cream inside and it's fried as a custard inside. Yeah, that's really good. But apart from the shushu, I'm not.
Yeah. And typically on the evening meal, do you eat the evening meal much later? What are the kind of the times of the meals? If you were going out for lunch, what time would you have lunch if you were visiting Girona? And what time would you go out for an evening meal in Girona?
1:30. Locals would go 1:30 to 2:30. Sometimes, if it's a Saturday or a Sunday, people are at the table at 5:30. When others are preparing, like foreign people are looking for a restaurant to have dinner, locals are still there at the table. It's very social, the meals are like that in these Mediterranean southern countries. So, and dinner, 8:30, 9. No, more
Gosh.
and more you find places opening at 8.
Yeah.
But I recommend going a bit later. So I recommend to have a snack because they say, how can you eat dinner so late? Because they haven't had lunch and then, but we do have lunch and then we grab some. So you can have, I recommend you go from 8:30 onwards. Otherwise, you'll find the restaurant quite empty.
Wow.
Or
Wow.
the
It's
only
so
foreigner.
so different from here where everybody goes out at 6 in the evening or something.
There's
Crazy.
more light there also, and yeah.
Very good. And then tell us, are there any kind of hidden spots or sort of, I suppose, hidden gems of places to visit within Girona and the region that maybe not a huge amount of tourists tend to go to, or they don't seem to realize how wonderful it is, that you could recommend for our listeners?
Well, I highly recommend our volcanic area. It's
Ah,
going to the Pyrenees. That's so beautiful, the landscape, especially during the fall when all the trees. We have a beach forest, yes, and in all this volcanic area, which is around a lot. Well, it's like capital. In the capital, you find the volcano museum, and it's really understanding volcanoes from the inside of a volcano. So I recommend that. And also going to La Fageda, which is the forest, and then Santa Paula. The gastronomy up there is also amazing,
mhm.
very welcome. So that's very beautiful. There are lots of hiking to do there, or even cycling. So that's not where the crowds would go, up to the Garrocha area.
Lovely.
And then going to the sea, there, well, more and more, especially after COVID, people are discovering everything. And well, the Instagram is just sometimes it's not that good because they are all over and you see photos and places. Oh, I want to go here, I want to go there. And there are places where really like more secret. But anyway, if you go in low season, you'll find them beautiful for you. From Cadaqués, which is the very north of the Costa Brava. Costa Brava is over 200 kilometers from the Pyrenees Mountains, the border with France, all the way down to Barcelona. And Costa Brava means rugged coast, and not brave coast, rugged coast, and tame coast, because mountains go down to the sea. So we have different ranges of mountains going to the sea, but the very north area where the really rugged and coves and cliffs. That's where Dali spent his holiday, great artist, and later had his house in Cadaqués. I
Mhm.
recommend going there and also visiting his house. His house is not with any other. Also Dali Museum. But if you go to Dali Museum, I also recommend Dali Museum would be in the afternoon. So go to Cadaqués in the morning, afternoon Dali Museum. In the morning, it tends to be more crowded. Or lunchtime, so around 2, 3, better time. Going down the Costa Brava, Port de la Selva, for example, Port de la Selva, beautiful harbor, fishing harbor, small town, white houses. That's not that known. Like, for example, Cadaqués is more known than Port de la Selva. From Port de la Selva, you can do all that. We have the Camins da Ronda, which are the coastal paths. And those
Mhm.
coastal paths are so beautiful. And we have them all along the Costa Brava, so you could do the whole area. That northern area, Lansalso, is less known, I would say.
Yeah.
Going down, we have Ampurias, very special, the Greek and Roman archaeological site by the sea, where the first Greek city preserved in Spain, and where from the Romans entered. And there you have big bay and sandy beaches also.
Wow.
So beautiful. Then you keep going down many places, La Scala, where they prepare the anchovies, Bagur, up a hillside in the central part of the Costa Brava, going down Calella, Palafrugell, Llafranc, Palamos, the big harbor. Palamos also has the fishing museum, and I would recommend to go and see the fish auction every
Okay.
afternoon. From 4 onwards, the ships are arriving, and that's very interesting. So Palamos is the bigger place.
That's on every day, is it, the fish auction?
That's every day except for Monday.
Okay, perfect.
And Monday is not the day to have fish.
Right, okay.
Because it's the day when it will not be fresh.
Yeah.
In Girona, I would also recommend in the city to visit the food market, the farmers market every morning. Fish, meat, vegetables.
And is that on every day as well, apart from Monday?
Every day in the morning. On Monday, there will not be. Then going down the Costa Brava, you also find, for example, Tossa de Mar. It's the only one that preserves all the defensive walls because it's still right by the sea. In old times, it was dangerous to buy this because of the pirates that have around. But Tossa de Mar is right by the sea, surrounded by defensive walls. It's also beautiful. And well, then we have the botanical gardens on this southern area of the Costa Brava. So really beautiful botanical gardens like in Lloret de Mar, Santa Clotilde. Well, people can look for them if they like. Enjoy.
Certainly a huge amount to do and see. That's definitely apparent. What's the kind of what's the typical length of stay that visitors come to Girona for? And sort of how long would you recommend for anybody that hasn't been to the region before and they're thinking about coming, during the low season months this winter? How long would you kind of recommend?
Well, as long as they can, because they can be here for a week and have different activity every day. Really, there's so much to do. But at least 3 nights. If it's not 3, 2 nights, but one night is a couple of nights. We can hire a car and discover the area. I mentioned the mountains, the Costa Brava, but I haven't mentioned the valleys in between, the Ampurdá region, where we have these beautiful medieval villages. And also we have the cellars that I have mentioned. So there's wine in the area.
Oh, wow.
Wine. We have many cellars. I also recommend visiting a cellar or an oil, so wine or oil. So we have really good wines and really good, have a bit of everything.
Very good. Well, it sounds like a breathtakingly beautiful part of the country. And I'm sure that there's a lot of listeners that, like me, really have had their eyes opened by all of the experiences that you're talking about, which are available during the low season months in Girona. And of course, from the UK and Ireland, it's about just over an hour's flight away. It's so close by. You're not so far away, really, are you?
No, we aren't. And we have an airport, so we have destinations to the UK, which is good. In winter, you also find, because I mentioned lots of festivals, music in Girona, but they're more spring, autumn. Although in autumn we have the high season theater, also with concerts and the Black Music Festival.
Wow.
So
and tell me, sorry, because we're coming up to, as we're recording this, we're starting to get into that period on the lead up towards Christmas. So I have to ask, what's Christmas like in Girona and the period leading up to Christmas?
Christmas is a very family celebration. So on the 25th, we have dinner on the 24th, another lunch 25th and the 26th. Boxing Day for us and Steve, it's an important day. So because you have to go to the different families when you were married, we have all these days. Christmas time, we have beautiful decorations in the streets. We have a Christmas market, a little Christmas market. That's not that big tradition in the south of Europe, but now we do have a very interesting Christmas market, which for Christmas they sell like all the figurines for the nativity.
Yeah,
that's a still big tradition. And if you are here at Christmas time, don't miss the nativity in the city council courtyard. It's a huge one. And then there's another place where you can find an exhibit of nativities. That I would recommend. Then we have this celebration. So Christmas Day, it's really very quiet. The next day also, they are holidays. Then lots of people go skiing because the resorts are it's city, spend some there. Then what is New Year's Eve, do not expect like fireworks, a tradition, but there's also the celebration around and lots of people have it in like families or friends. And then we have a long holiday at Christmas time until the 5th of January, where we have the parade for the Three Kings. That's
Three Kings Parade, yeah.
parade, yeah. I never miss that parade. You know, still, we have the White King and the African, well, the black one and the other one, the Three Kings, on chariots, beautifully decorated. There's all the music that goes around and all the people that go around them, and that's beautiful and very unique to see the parade for the Epiphany. And then on the 6th, kids get the present, and the children all the present, and the grown up. We also have Father Christmas. You know.
Also have what, sorry?
The Father Christmas.
Yes, okay, very good.
Because, that's not traditionally from here, but we also have that tradition. And then we have the Tio. The Tio is more traditional. Christmas Eve, you knock on a lock. That's funny because you say just a lock, but that lock have eyes. You see that in the Christmas. What is that about? Eyes and mouth and the Catalan traditional red hat. And then you have to cover, well, for a few days you have it at home. It appears at home, or you go to the forest and find it with the kids. Right. And then you cover it with a blanket and you keep feeding. The children feed the lock, which is called Tio. Christmas Eve, they knock it and sing a song, and they go and give a little prayer while you will be just giving presents below. Traditionally, there were the turrones. This is what we get Christmas time, turron. We have really good turron. You might know it with the name nougat. It can be almond, marzipan, yolk of the egg, burn. So now lots of chocolate, different ones. So the turron is a big tradition.
Yeah. It sounds like Christmas in Girona is quite the celebration, actually. I'm sure there'll be a few of our listeners also very tempted by the 5th of January to come over and see the King's Parade. I think that sounds absolutely wonderful. Sadly, that is all we have time for this particular episode. Margarita, I want to thank you so much for painting such a wonderful picture of Girona for us during the low season months, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who will be very much looking forward to getting over to Girona ourselves for hopefully 4 or 5 days during this winter to appreciate it for ourselves. But thank you so much for sharing your hometown with us and with our listeners.
Thank you. Welcome to Girona.
So there you have it. And if Margarita has inspired you to find out more about Girona, you can visit lowseasontraveller.com to see our new guide to the low season months in Girona, and you will find Girona as one of our featured destinations in the next edition of Low Season Traveller magazine, which comes out in January. Our subscribers to the magazine receive 4 issues each year delivered directly to their door, and you can also find it stocked in Waitrose, W.H. Smith's, and a selection of independent newsagents throughout the UK and Ireland. But that's our show for this week. Thanks as always for your company, and if you enjoyed the podcast, please do leave us a positive rating and review on your podcast app. And also don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn to be the first to hear our latest low season stories, articles and guides. Have a great week wherever you are, and remember that travel is always better and fairer for the planet, the local communities and you the travellers when it's without the crowds.